You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world.
We don't sleep to dream, we sleep to build stamina, energy to do our thing. Get your camera. This show is about to begin, so sit down and buckle it in. Let's go! Yeah! My name is Brian, that is Shane. You're watching The BRANE Show, and we are officially back on the program. And no, I'm not talking about AA, I'm talking about the partner program. We have been monetized. I can't hear Shane. Let me fix that. Shane, your mic is off, I think, bro. Wait, I got you. Go.
Hey, all right.
Some sound issues for some reason, but
the
chat hooked me up. They were like, hey, it ain't working, bro. Anyways, I'm here. How you doing today, Shane?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It's we had a week off last week, so it's nice to be back. I felt like, we missed something is what it felt like this week. So very happy to be here. Glad to see all these beautiful faces out here, which I can't see any of your faces, but I'm assuming you're all beautiful. So.
Oh, I mean, I'm beautiful enough.
Except for Brian. You're all beautiful, but Brian.
Hey, speaking of which, we are monetized. Thankfully, we should be on Rumble and on X in addition to YouTube. I'm not sure if we're on those things, but I know we're on YouTube. And as usual, we are sponsored by ourselves.
How desperate do you have to be sponsored by yourselves?
If you go to mixtees.com and click on YouTube exclusive, scroll down to the BRANE Show right here. You can also just go to mixtees.com/BRANE Show and buy one of our awesome shirts. I'm actually wearing this shirt right here. It says, if you can read it, it says Epstein didn't kill himself.
Oh, we're supposed to hear also the list. Pam Bondi said that don't worry, it's coming.
Yeah. Oh. My buddy texts me. He's like, hey, congrats on your re-monetization. I'm like, thanks, man. He goes, the Epstein files are coming out. I don't think you guys will be monetized that long.
It's gonna be a quick monetization.
He goes, he's gonna rip your monetization.
Speaking of monetization, Kenneth LaRoque for $20. Thank you, Kenneth. Testing. Thank you for the support. Our friend in Canada, always. Thank you so much, brother. That worked, I think, right, Brian?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, there it is. Testing. Well, look at that cool sticker. Look at that sticker it puts next to his name. It says Super Chat. I've never seen that before. It's a whole new graphic.
We've been gone so long, they have all these new things.
Look at that. Look at that rad Super Chat sticker it puts next to it. Oh, another one from iSosa. Speaking of my friend that texted me, that ripped monetization. That's him. Firm handshakes. Firm handshakes, sure. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sosa. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Also, if you want to get my hat that I'm wearing right now, so I'm wearing the hat and the shirt. Look at that, hat and the shirt. So go pick it up if you want to support us, or Super Chat. That works too.
Yeah. If you want my hat, you'll have to go to some Miami Dolphins website because we don't sell it. So.
Yeah, we tried once and we were sued into oblivion.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I don't suggest it. Sports teams are crazy. Like, they do not play, you guys.
Amen.
All right, what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about a lot of things. First off, journalists who lie for a living. There's a lot of them. Specifically today, we're talking about Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow because they were rated the least trustworthy on the left-leaning website. We have examples of them. Yeah, shocker. We have examples of them lying repeatedly throughout the last 6 years. We're also talking about Captain America, Brave New World. The budget controversy gets a little bit gnarly with an 82% drop from last week. There is absolutely no way this is going to be a successful movie unless all of a sudden everyone starts going to watch this movie. Also, right, politicians lying about Doge. We have examples from Senator Tim Kaine, AOC, Elizabeth Warren.
The list is as long as my Epstein list.
It's as long as the Epstein list. I really wish that had come out because it wouldn't have been funny if we were monetized for exactly one day. Because we're on our third monetization now.
Isn't there a 3 strikes you're out policy or something? So.
No, yeah, but they have to be like consecutive. Like there's a cooling off period. So like once the monetization is back off cooldown, like in a video game, you can ruin it again.
It's like you piss off your wife and she lets you back in the house finally, and you got a couple of days and piss her off again. Okay.
I'm just waiting for you to be like, you know what, guys? No,
no more. You're done.
You're wasting our time. Also, the asteroid chances of hitting Earth has just increased to 3.1%. And I have some biblical end times information to share about that. I think it's really interesting how the timeline matches exactly what the end times
conspiracies begin. All
yes.
right, nice.
I'm putting on the tinfoil hat today, boys. Also, we're going to talk about that humpback whale that just randomly ate a dude in the middle of the ocean, and they captured it on film.
And the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America and the enhanced games, which is like steroid Olympics, and how Donald Trump fits into that. It's very interesting.
All right. Donald Trump Jr., yes.
Donald Trump Jr., my bad. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show, man. And we got another super chat from Drew D for $10. Let's go.
Thank you, Drew.
I can't get enough of that little super chat sticker. I don't know where it's coming from. Do you see it right there?
I can't. I'm on my phone, so I can't really see. I see like next to Sosa's, I see a number 1.
No, it's like on the feed. You guys see this? Like it's like underneath the picture, it shows like a little glossy super chat sticker thing.
I think it's on computers.
Here's the deal. I don't know where that's coming from. I did not do that.
It's a new feature.
It must be a YouTube thing that I'm just completely unaware of.
Makes people happy.
We're not using like typical Streamlabs stuff. Like everything here is custom, so I don't know where that image came from. And
it's in the chat. Oh, you're talking about on the video.
Yeah, on the video.
I'm looking in the chat.
Yeah,
okay, my bad.
On the chat, right.
All right, I see it.
Well, I love how in the chat it says, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream.
Touche.
How long are we doing the show now, Shane?
Oh, long time. Well, wait, 7 years.
7 years, and this version of the show is at episode 206. So that's telling you something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Since Unleashed, this is episode 206. Okay, guys. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to start the recording real quick. All right, we're talking about some of the least trusted names in news. And of course, if you know anything about the current climate we have in journalism today, most journalists are just not trusted by the average person. Shane, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why is it that most average people no longer trust journalists?
Well, because they lie. They're lying to you all the time.
Right.
Because journalism has stopped becoming journalism. It's no longer journalism. It is now opinionism. And like
that's interesting. I like that.
Opinionism. And like buttholes, I'm going to be nice and not use the ASS word.
Okay.
Like buttholes, everyone has one. And because we are humans with distinct differences, everyone might have a slight little bit of a difference of opinion.
Right.
So now when you go out reporting your opinion as the news, a lot of people may not agree with you. And unfortunately, we've been doing this ever since the 24-hour news cycle started, and it's been downhill from there. Yeah,
and so here is some of, specifically Joy Reid, who I find detestable in every way. I don't like her whatsoever. I think that she's a liar. And it wasn't just my opinion of her, which is a liar. And if you don't know who Joy Reid is, I'm just going to show you a quick image of Joy Reid. This is Joy Reid. There she is. Joy Reid does a show called The Readout, which is cool. Whatever.
I guess her name's Reid.
Yeah, her name is Reid.
Okay. Clever.
The problem is she starts every segment with like a monologue, sort of like Judge. I'm sort of like a lot of journalists do it.
Yeah.
The thing is half of what she's saying, she presents as pure fact with evidence to back it up, when it is almost and consistently always pure opinion. And not even opinion based on logic, opinion based solely on her hate or her over-enthusiastic intention to mislead the audience. Now, recently, Greg Gutfeld was named the king of late night. And we were talking about it on the other show. And the reason being, it's because he is attracting all these sort of common sense, right wing, or conservatives, or libertarians, or take your pick, that's not left. And the other people on late night, like Jimmy Fallon, we know how he is. Jimmy Kimmel, crying idiot. Stephen Colbert.
Fallon's not too bad.
Fallon's not as bad as the other two, for sure.
Yeah.
But these people are all competing for the same space. So you have Greg Gutfeld, really completely open market. He has the largest amount of space with very little competition. So what happens is a lot of these people that are listening to the readout, they aren't actually ingesting the news properly. They're not actually researching anything. They're just taking whatever this person says as pure fact. Here is, and I went and looked since for the last 4 years. Here's Joy Reid's most heinous lies. I'm going to tell you what they are, Shane, and I want to hear your opinion, my friend.
Okay.
All right. In 2021, do you know who Kyrie Irving is?
No.
He's an NBA player.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm
Wait,
going to be
WNBA player?
No, like
Like or NBA player. No, is it a woman? I don't know who's Kai? Is Kai girl or boy?
It's not a woman, it's a man.
Man, okay, got it.
Yeah, this is
NBA, got it.
This is it's right. Did I say WNBA?
I couldn't tell what you said.
Sorry,
You
the
said
NBA.
Kai and then something to do with
He's
the
an NBA player, all right?
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely not a woman. I see it.
Yeah, he's not. Well, who knows?
I mean, the government has made sure we understand there are only two.
Who knows nowadays?
I mean, it's true. He might actually have a vajayjay, so it's possible.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, what she did was, and I'm being very careful here because I don't want to get demonetized instantly, but she did say that Irving was refusing to get the medication.
Okay.
From 2019.
Got it.
Okay.
What we call it, the jab.
The jab.
I think it's safe to say the jab.
And that he gave up $17 million because he didn't want to get the jab.
Okay.
PolitiFact, which I might add is a left-wing organization, says this is false. Okay. Actually, he didn't give up the $17 million. They took it from him. They fired him.
Well, I get it. So his choice, though, led him to not get it. So this is what happens in journalism, right? So because his choice was to not get the jab, he didn't get his money. Now, if he had got the jab, he would have got his money. So what she's saying is he chose not to take the money.
But the way she framed it
right.
was she didn't want for it to sound like the jab was mandatory. So she framed it in a way that misled her audience into believing that he had a choice to give up that $17 million or get the jab.
Well, he did, though.
Well, not exactly. It was a
jab. He gets $17 million. If he doesn't get the jab, piss off. This is right.
Yeah, it was a penalty because he couldn't play home games. So it was a penalty. It wasn't a willing penalty.
I get you what you're saying.
That's the misleading part of it.
Sure. A lot of it's misleading, but what we're going to talk about today, when Brian gets to it, is outright lies. Not misleading, but actual. Keep going, though.
Okay. So in 2022, do you remember the Don't Say Gay bill?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So on air during readout, she claimed that the Florida's Parental Rights and Education Act, HB 1557, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill, meant, and I quote, "You literally can't say the word gay in schools."
Right.
Shane, is that correct?
No, but not only is it false, but anybody with any common sense at all would understand that that's totally not false. If you had spent 10 seconds listening to anything about that topic, you would know that's not true.
Right, because what it was actually about was educators, specifically in ages 5 through 9, talking about their sexual identity.
Yeah, no, they completely 100%. Well, and that was the whole narrative. And I'm glad you brought that up, because this is exactly the kind of things that was like, I wouldn't even say the beginning. That was like lying light. Like, based on what's happening today, that was small pickles. Like, it's worse today. It's like back then you could be like, well, don't say gay. Okay, yeah, I can kind of believe that. So
like the way she said, you literally can't say the word gay in schools.
Right. And how many people watched her, not as many as other programs, and then just continued to respout that information on social media and other places, right?
Oh yeah. Over and over and over again.
Which is part of the problem. Okay,
right.
But continue. I'm enjoying.
Yeah, you're enjoying. Okay, here's another one. In 2020 on Readout. Do you remember the whole Russia Gate thing with Donald Trump?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
it's funny you asking me these questions. Like, I really know a whole lot about. That I actually know a lot about. You're like, do you remember?
I know.
We've talked
I'm just sure.
But go ahead.
If you've watched our show, we've talked about it thousands of times.
Yeah, no, great.
It's a never-ending hodgepodge of Russia.
Never heard about it. Tell me more.
Russia. All right, so on the Readout, this is what reads say verbatim. We've obtained President Donald Trump's tax returns, and he did absolutely pay taxes to Russia.
Okay.
PolitiFact says that is false.
Why would you pay taxes to Russia?
And what she actually meant was Trump businesses paid many foreign fees in all the different hotels they have. But
I mean, it technically is a tax. You're right. No, right. See, this is the thing. What she's saying, and this is what I was trying to tell you, this is what I mean by lying light. So it is truthful. Like, his hotels have had to pay taxes to foreign countries. Yes. Her saying Donald Trump paid taxes to it is technically true, but she's trying to get you to believe that he's done something nefarious.
Right. Yeah. And here's the last, what I thought was, and there's a lot of examples of this. I'm only showing the ones that are most pop culture relevant and interesting. And the most recent one, outside of the Doge stuff, which we'll get to, is right before the presidential debate between President Trump and President Biden, right before, literally like a month before, she said that if you talk about President Joe Biden having a mental decline, that is ageism, and I quote, Joe Biden is sharper than ever, and then approximately 10 days later, he was removed from the ticket.
Right. Well, they all lied about Biden. I mean, listen, everybody knew that something wasn't right. Anybody who watched him anytime he managed, I mean, everybody knew, but the media, and this is another reason why, what did you ask me earlier? Why do people not trust the media?
Right.
Well, because that was a great situation where we all could see what was happening, but no one would talk about it. Right. And when they did talk about it, they said, no, he's excellent. He's in perfect health. Well, that was not true. And someone else, not the president of the United States, was running the country for the last 4 years. And we still don't exactly know who that is.
Yeah, you think that's ever going to actually come up, though? You think we're ever going to learn who was his aides, his wife? Like,
yeah, we'll know. I just got done reading, and I think if you're interested in history at all, everybody should read this. It's Bill O'Reilly's Confronting the Presidents. And I just got done reading that, and it's really great. It goes all the way back to George Washington and basically goes through every single president. You get like a 20 to 30 minute snapshot on what each president accomplished, what happened, main things that happened. So, in the next 10 years or so, we're going to find out that Anthony Blinken and the people surrounding the president were actually making all the decisions. But if you go back and look at a book like that, it actually gives you, it's a wonderful, if you want to know about history, and what it'll teach you is that a lot of the things that are happening now happened 150 years ago as well, where the media lied, where the media was we go through these interesting cycles that most people don't realize we're going through because you don't know history. But if you go back and look at history, you can see how, oh my God, we're repeating shit. And we will likely repeat this again in another 100 years as well.
Right. I agree. Okay. Now on the second least trusted figure. This is Rachel Maddow. She looks a little bit like an older vegan brother of Tucker Carlson.
I was going to say she looks like Stephen Colbert.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So Rachel Maddow actually has a pretty popular show on MSNBC, and people would argue that she isn't the news; she is opinion. However, this is the problem with news versus opinion. They report it as if it's the news. So if you go, oh, well, this is just her opinions. Well, but she's reporting it as if the news. Going back to the Steele dossier, you know a lot about that.
Oh, yeah.
She promoted that more than any other reporter, journalist, whatever out there. And what happened from all that when she did 37 straight shows about the Steele dossier and the Trump-Russia collusion, only for the Mueller report to come out and say that literally every one of those claims were either unverified or completely debunked. This is my biggest problem, and I'm going to stop with this story. There's a lot more, but I really want to say this. The biggest problem with this blatant, malicious misleading by journalists is that there is never any repercussions. You can completely lie, blatantly, totally bold-faced lie for the purpose of misleading your audience, and then print a tiny little retraction on some blog post on the website that said, well, due to new information, this was where
there's no retractions, bro. No, I'm not. That used to be.
CNN still does it. You'll see their blog posts where they update updated news report, an updated news report.
Most people don't. Let's put it that way.
I mean, but you should not be able to call yourself a journalist if you have such an insanely bad track record of being either completely wrong or maliciously lying to your audience.
Well, and I would argue that it's not even about being wrong anymore. Now it's about, and this is if you came here to watch this video, this is, and you're looking at like what we wrote in the title and stuff. This is the age of the liar.
Right.
So the point is that what's happening is now there is not only is there no consequences for lying, but lying is justified because you're able to do whatever it is you need to do to make sure the other side loses.
Right.
Okay. It's no longer about winning and having honor and doing it the right way. It's now about, it's so detrimental to our future that we are within our rights to do anything. And this is what makes the left so dangerous, or a large portion of the left so dangerous, is that they do believe this. So not only do you have journalists like Rachel Maddow, and a lot of these people, they've been lying to you a long time. But what's gotten even worse is your politicians. People like Elizabeth Warren, people like, a lot of people on the left, if you just go through Twitter and you look at all their stuff, they're outright lying to you. So the stuff that's happening with Doge right now, they are literally saying things like they just shut down the Department of Education.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that.
That's a whole different story?
It's a whole different story. I have a bunch of the politician stuff, and the Department of Education, AOC, and Elizabeth Warren. Like, it's insane.
Okay, but the whole point is, if we're going to go on to talk about it more, that's fine. But essentially, you have your politicians on the left. Okay, they are completely lying about everything, straight up lying. Like,
straight up.
President Trump just killed someone in the White House.
Right.
Like we're one step removed from saying things like that.
Right.
Like, it's very close, because their goal isn't to get you to they don't care if you don't agree with them. They want to make you mad. They're trying to make you angry,
right,
so that you change how you feel about Trump. Even because if Trump is doing something that's helping you, they still want you to hate him, because it's the only, they're like animals backed into the corner at this point. They don't have any place else to go because they've lost. They lost on common sense. They've lost on policy. They've lost on elections. Now all that's left is to try to gaslight you to the point where you don't believe anything else. And since it takes so much time for you to kind of sort through all of the information yourself to figure out what's true, they're just counting on the fact that you're going to listen to them and then go out with your pitchfork and and your fires and start destroying things.
Yeah, and the problem is it's actually dangerous. It's really dangerous because back to Maddow, like she said that there's no family reunification and that illegal immigrants were just being dropped off. Kids are being dropped off over the border with no family reunification or supervision, which is completely and totally false. But it gets a bunch of people really angry. And then next thing you know, they're clogging up the 5 and the 55 freeways, in LA.
Well, here's the thing. That was true under the last administration.
Right.
So now this is what's even more disgusting is you're right. Kids were showing up unaccompanied, and there's actually been several reports, people, even social media people, of kids traveling alone on aircraft, kids who are being sent to other adults in the country that end up in sweatshops. Right. These kids end up like working.
But that was before the ORR. That was before the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which was a Trump thing. So that was a Trump thing. That was a Trump organization. They set that up. The crazy
Where
part
are the 300,000 kids? Remember, that's the question everybody's asking. Where are the 300,000 kids? Well, the problem is under the last administration, they didn't know. They couldn't answer that question. So now, we'll see. You're still going to have, kids show up at the border because, I don't know if, families are so desperate, they're selling their kids into slavery, and you've got these coyotes bringing kids in to work, these sweatshops here, which the FBI needs to go in and clean out every single one of those in our country. But you're right. This is just one more thing that they're lying about. Now they put everything on this administration when it was really the last administration.
Right. And other dangerous things, hurting their competition via purposely misreporting. When they said OAN was paid Russian propaganda and they provided proof, and the proof was their own subsidiary website, The Daily Beast, which is crazy. That would be like us having a website for the news, reporting fake news, and us reporting on that fake news. And this is MSNBC, dude. This is not like comicbook.ru or something crazy, okay?
Right.
The Georgia voting machines, election fraud, the Trump Syria withdrawal. I mean, that actually caused actual death to soldiers, real American soldiers. And there's just no remorse. There's no punishment, nothing. I'm not saying punish journalists, but there needs to be some kind of shaming of these people. But frankly, we live in such a fast world that we all forget what they said 2 months ago.
Well, and it is happening to some degree. I mean, all these people you're talking about with Rachel Maddow and with all of a lot of the left-wing media, they have much less viewership. I mean, the reason why Greg Gutfeld is the king of comedy late night is really because there's been, everybody's leaving the left to watch the right. Now, I watch Greg Gutfeld and he's funny. I don't know if he's not intellectually superior to me. So when I watch him, I don't think, wow, he's really breaking the news for me, or he's really, he's just kind of a comedian. So I think he's really benefiting from the number of people who've left the left media to watch more of a centered or right media.
Right.
And there's just more people watching Fox, frankly, than any of these other things, because Fox, at the very least, and this is the other part, is Fox doesn't necessarily always tell you the truth, but Fox is also not outright lying to you.
No.
Okay. The big difference is they're not factually telling you things that are incorrect. They might lead you with their opinion or guide you to the way that they think or feel. But the big difference is they're not outright saying things that aren't true. And so they become a little bit more of a credible media outlet. Now, people don't want to say that who are on the left. They want to hate Fox News because it's Donald Trump media. But, if you watch all of their segments, their business stuff and all the things they do, it's pretty balanced stuff.
I agree. Well, what do you guys think about Fox News? All right, before we get to the next segment, we got a super chat from Christy's Corner. She said, refund anyone? 20% to tax paying us, 20% to debt, 20% to budget.
That's a good, and we didn't actually talk about that today, but we do. Yeah. Thank you, Christy, for that.
It's a cool thing, but I didn't know how to pull 10.
Well, the idea of getting a check back real quickly, I guess, since we're here in the middle, the idea of getting a check from the government, it would feel good to be able to just get some extra money. We all need it. We all could use it. But if I'm being 100% honest with you, our budget deficit needs it more. And frankly speaking, as much as I would love a $5,000 check, could do a lot with it. It probably would do more harm for the country, but more good for Trump and the Republican Party, which I think that they're kind of balancing on whether or not they really want to send the savings back to people. If you really want to benefit Americans, get down our national debt, because we are very close to being past the point of no return.
Yeah. And someone said that it would actually help decrease inflation, but I don't know how that is the case.
No, it would increase inflation.
Right. Someone said it would decrease inflation because it would boost the economy, because most people would save the money. And I'm like, that's not true. Most people wouldn't save the money. They're going to spend that money quick. I don't know.
No, so what's going to happen is people are going to get it, and most people are going to immediately spend it. And so what's going to happen is these companies who all of a sudden, let's say you got, a t-shirt company or something, and all of a sudden you see, oh my gosh, we're getting all these orders. Oh shoot, I can't afford to do it with the staff I have. I need to hire a couple more people. So then you got to hire. But the problem is, oh shoot, I can't get people, but I need them now. I'm going to have to pay them more.
Right.
So then you got to pay them more. So people go out and you get this, this injection of money into the economy. This is what happened after COVID with all those checks we got.
Right.
People hired. They had to pay people who didn't want to go to work. They had to raise how much, so that cost them more money. So they raised the prices of the things that you bought to cover those things.
Right.
Which that's what raises inflation. What if they want to give money back to people? And I still don't think it's a good idea. I still think we need to pay down the debt before we give any money back. What they need to do is do it slowly. Instead of giving people $5,000, give them $400 a month for a year. So that way, their money goes towards lifestyle payments, towards you're paying your bills, towards paying down your credit card debt. If you really want to do it.
I don't know. You're getting real close to that universal basic income, bro.
No. I'm just saying, if they want to give $5,000,
sounds a whole lot like socialism to me, commie.
Okay, wait. Let me ask you this: is it getting a $5,000 check one time communism or socialism?
Yeah, I'm joking, by the way.
No, well, I'm just saying. The point is if you did it over the course of a year. It's the same thing as getting a one-time check for $5,000. Right.
But that is really close to like a universal basic income. But
if they're doing it as a one-time thing to say, listen, you've been getting robbed all these years, that's one thing. But here's the real funny thing about being robbed. Most poor people don't pay very many taxes.
Right.
I know this is not a popular thing to say. Most people don't want to hear this. But realistically, if you make less than $50,000 a year, you're paying more state tax than anything, right? Sales tax, basically, when you buy things. You're not paying much federal tax. Anything you get taken, especially if you have any children, anything you get taken from your federal tax, you pretty much get back at the end of the year. So people who
unless you're like me, who lose it all every single year.
Yeah. Do you know who's?
I don't even see the point in doing my tax return other than I don't want to go to jail.
Well, that's a big reason not to. But you know who really gets punished by taxes? The rich people don't get punished by taxes. Poor people don't get punished by taxes. You know who gets punished by taxes? Everybody in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
Because those are the people who are paying the taxes. And honestly, that's
hard-working people that get punished.
Yeah, so poor people getting $5,000 is like, extra money, right? It's just like an extra tax return for them. But people in the middle, they get that $5,000. They're the ones who are going to put it back towards their bills.
Like, I don't care either way what they do, but all I request is that not everyone gets $5K. You have to have filed taxes to get that $5K. If you're going to give away $5K, you cannot give it to just any person. It's got to be someone who filed taxes, bro.
Well, still a mistake, because like during COVID, one of my kids who lived at home, has no bills, but had a job, right? Was paying their taxes, got like $5,000 in $4,000 or $5,000 in money that that child did not need, which went directly to buying things, which then raised our
Xbox.
Which is why we now have, higher interest, because a lot happened to a lot of people. You're right. So who should get, like I said, let's just, balance the budget and let's put that savings back into lowering taxes, especially for the middle class. Okay. Let's lower taxes and use the money that we have out there that Doge is finding. Let's put it all into our programs we currently have so that we have a cost savings. And I still haven't figured out who exactly we're paying interest to. So this is an interesting thing. We're paying interest to ourselves.
Right.
right? On our debt. And we're also paying interest to like China.
Wait, isn't the Federal Reserve, though, a private bank?
Federal Reserve is technically a private. They're an NGO. Yes, they're private.
Right. So we're paying some interest to a private bank.
It's complicated.
It's really complicated. And now they're like, hey, we don't know if there's gold in Fort Knox.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're going to find out.
I can't. Elon said they might live stream it. Please live stream it.
Oh, God. Dude, it would be better than Geraldo's, like Jimmy Hoffa's body.
Yes.
It would be great.
I can't wait till they walk in there and markets drop.
Right.
when there's no gold. And you have some gold, don't you? You have some physical gold?
I used to. I'm out.
Oh, too bad, because it's going to skyrocket, bro. Now is the time to go buy
If there's no gold in there? Yeah, no, that'd be...
If there's no gold in there, whoever has gold is really looking good right now.
That'll be the biggest, like, if there's no gold in Fort Knox, that'll be the biggest conspiracy theory in all time. Like, when was it taken out? Where did it go?
Also, another thing Alex Jones said that will have ended up being true.
Oh, geez.
Because he said there's no gold in Fort Knox. They're lying to you. Back in 1977, they gave all the gold away.
But, he's also just, pitching shit. He's not sure either.
Right, yeah. You throw enough stuff at the wall, some stuff sticks.
I will tell you.
They're throwing the frogs guy. I did not expect that one to be true. I just sort of said that randomly, and apparently they're actually doing that.
I will say some governments do stockpile gold like crazy. And, you haven't heard much about our government stockpiling any gold in 50 years.
No, and like Germany, I think it was Germany asked for gold back because apparently they had, some countries had sent us gold to keep for them for safekeeping.
We'll hold it for you.
Yeah, don't trust where you're going, guys. Well, Germany asked for it back. And it took 3 years to finally get it back to them, and it was all brand new gold. And no one's asking the question, hey guys, where did our gold from 1963 go? That had our country stamp on it? You're just sending us new gold. I was just freshly minted. I'm a little confused right now.
Yeah, we bought we upgraded the Pentagon. Sorry.
Right. Oh, we upgraded you. Where's our gold?
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay. Break topic before we get into the next financial thing. Let's take a breather from that and talk about movie finances. There's a lot of finances going on. Captain America: Brave New World. Movie came out on the 14th, and I watched it. Shane did not. Shane said, I don't see a point in watching a Captain America movie that doesn't have Captain America in it.
Well, no, I didn't, and that's not what I said. I said, there's no point in watching a movie where Captain America has no superpowers. What in the F is going on?
It's basically the same, though. It's like,
I get it, but I want to be clear. If somehow Anthony Mackie had gotten superhero powers...
But he could have. That's the crazy part. Plot-wise, the serum was available.
Yeah.
And it has no side effects. And he just decided that he doesn't want to take it. He wears it like a badge of honor. I didn't take the serum. Maybe I should have, but I didn't take it. And everyone around, everyone around was like, "You made the right decision." And I'm like, "No, you didn't. There's no side effects. You have the serum. Take the serum, dude." And
there's a reason we don't make movies about Steve the accountant down the street. Okay, right. We make movies about people who have superpowers.
Unless it's an autistic accountant that was also trained to be an assassin, like Ben Affleck. That's different.
That's like The Accountant, right? Is that his name? Yeah.
No, the thing is, this movie, I did watch it. It's okay. Whatever. This is not a review. There's a lot of problems. The biggest being he didn't take the stupid serum. But the real life problem is that the movie saw an 82% drop from last week or something like that, something insane drop. And right now it has a worldwide, as of the 21st, worldwide it's made $245 million. Sounds good, right? Because Disney claimed reported its budget 3 years ago as $180 million. So far it looks like they're doing great. Made 245 of 100 million. Even if you add on the customary $100 million marketing budget, that means they would only have to make $280 million. They'll probably get there, no problem. Except for that budget was reported prior to about a year's worth of reshoots.
Uh-oh.
Right. So this is from World of I know this is sort of some of this information's old, but I need to get you there so I can explain what's going on. From World of Real, they said no. Brave New World's budget is not $180 million. It's actually cost $380 million. And you can go read it. I'll put the link in the description. But bottom line is, this is the TLDR. Going off of past tax returns and past Marvel movies like The Marvels, Ant-Man, Quantumania, etc., there's more than likely the reshoots for that amount of reshoots was another $70 to $100 million. If you add on the $100 million marketing budget, that's also customary, you end up with about $380 million or so, and then another $100 million at $480 million. If they take about 30% of the revenue, they have to make about $600 million to break even. But they're reporting via their shill rags like the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, etc. They're reporting
Variety.
A Variety. It's an absolute success. It's doing great. Everyone loves Captain America: Brave New World. But in reality, they're at $245 million. They need to 3 times that before they start making profit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Disney is only going to report. Disney doesn't want to report bad news. Okay, so if they can get away with it now, and
that's
why
the question. I want to know why. I have some ideas, but
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think.
Go ahead.
I think that Captain America and Snow White, which is coming right behind this movie, these are the last 2 of the. We are trying to change the world viewpoint. So when Captain America: Brave New World and Snow White was out, they were still on this whole, I don't want to say DEI because it's kind of new. They're on this whole progressive, ideology.
Yeah.
Still.
We want to change your mind.
Yeah. We want to change your mind. We're going to line up more with the progressive way of thinking.
And that's what the reshoots were for. They say the reshoots were so that they can basically rewrite the movie to get away, because the original title of the movie was actually, and I'm not joking, Captain America: New World Order.
Oh, okay.
And they changed it to Brave New World, and they added a bunch of characters.
To me, is about the same damn thing.
Sounds the same. Yeah.
Brave
New World sounds like a more positive spin on it, I guess.
No, Brave New World sounds like we're doing things different. We got to be brave about it because no one's going to agree with us.
Yeah, so brave, so heroic,
so brave.
But that's the reshoots were changed to change the story to be less globalist, I think.
And we don't know for sure if that's what the reshoots were. But I mean, insiders might say. But what I'll tell you is that Disney had this coming to Jesus moment when they realized, oh my God, we're losing so much money and nobody's going to the movies. And oh my Jesus Christ, we're screwed. And all of a sudden, but it was too late to shut down these 2 movies that still were being produced. It would have cost more to dump them. And so they said, well, I think we can fix them. Let's change, let's change the story on Captain America a little bit. Let's, instead of Snow White,
instead of Snow White and the 7 patchouli smelling homeless men, let's actually use CGI dwarves. Remember the original dwarves were basically, they look like rejects from Woodstock.
or panning of the LGBTQ community.
Right, yeah, and they're all like they're half of them are gay at least.
Blue-haired, people who were just different. And so, so they said, listen, we can repair this by just, and then of course, Anthony Mackie opened his mouth and he talked, basically said negative things about America. America do better. And so then Disney's like, oh crap.
America do better. And just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it.
But if you look at what's coming out after these 2 movies, everything lined up behind Disney after this are things like Lilo and Stitch 2, Tron Ares, the Avatar movies, the Fantastic Four. A lot of they've completely changed their messaging in their movies to go to a more traditional, more consumer-friendly type of movie making style. So if you go and look for the next 3 years, what's coming out, I'm not seeing any Brave New Worlds. I'm not seeing any, queer children trying to figure out what strange world they're from. You know, I'm not seeing any Buzz Lightyear gay characters. So what's happening is they've made this transformation. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to gaslight everyone about Brave New World because it's almost impossible to prove otherwise.
Right.
Now, internally, they know they've lost money, but they're like, screw it. We would have lost more money if we hadn't made the movie at all. So we'll just lie to everybody, tell them that, tell them lies that, oh yeah, it's successful and it worked, blah, blah, blah. Let's get past this thing. We'll lose 20% instead of 75% and then just move on to the next movie. Right. And that's exactly, I think, what they're doing here.
Okay, so I think you're right. And I wrote down some options, which you already stated a couple of them, but I said, mask financial failure to protect their stock value, downplay production issues to protect future movies like the Thunderbolts, which is directly tied to this. They actually added in the Bucky character in as part of a reshoot pretty late in order to promote Thunderbolts, which is really weird too. That was another criticism I had for the movie. Bucky shows up and has like a heart-to-heart with the guy when he's in the middle of like this huge thing. And then he just walks away and you're like, yeah, you're a superhero, Bucky. Why aren't you helping your boy?
Right.
Out of the two people in the room, you're the only one with powers. Why are you just giving him a pep talk and then leaving?
Because that's the whole messaging.
Because they couldn't afford them in graphics. And so they wanted to inject them into the movie so they could promote Thunderbolts. That's another thing, too, is they want to maintain whatever momentum they have. And so they have to keep this narrative going, this like media narrative that everything's fine. Deflect blame to all the haters, and the racists and all the ist, and go, look, everything's going great. We're doing great. Don't forget to watch Thunderbolts.
And consider that just recently news came out that Disney's essentially priced out the average American from being able to go on a Disney vacation.
Oh, it's incredible. It's so expensive.
Where now only rich people can go to Disney for 3 days. And it's honestly gotten to that point. I know I've been trying to plan a trip. I haven't taken my kids in
unless you work there
9 years. Of course, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I don't work there. I live in Southern California. It's still going to cost me $4,000 or $5,000 to take my family to stay at a Disney place for 3 days. So people just can't afford it, So they've priced themselves out. They need to be worried about their stock prices. Their movies aren't doing great. Disney Plus is losing subscribers. That just came out recently. They're losing.
Yeah. Someone was like, so how many subscriptions did USAID have? Because it was when they shut that down, it was like the next day they lost like hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, and who knows exactly, but all I know is like Disney is not looking like a strong company right now. So, they need to lie like everybody else today in order to protect their investments. The problem is are we smart enough to see through the lies? And that's why I'm glad you guys are here watching us so we can talk about these things.
Okay. That's great. That was a great end. I'm just going to end it right there. Let's move on to the next topic.
All right, love it.
Speaking of liars, back a little bit to politics for a minute. Let's talk about politicians blatantly, bold-faced, maliciously lying about Doge. And you got to ask yourself the question, Shane, why lie about the audits of the federal government? What skin do you have in the game? Is it a tribalism thing? Do you just hate anything associated with Donald Trump, so you just completely oppose it? Or are you hiding something? Because I can't think of a reason why you would go so hard after an audit. Speaking of which, number one on my list is Senator Tim Kaine. Do you remember Senator Tim Kaine?
Oh, yeah.
He was going to be vice president at one point.
No, it wasn't.
I mean,
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Vegas betting odds put him at 96% chance to win, and then he didn't. So
you got close.
So
now no one will remember him.
Right? Yeah. There was actually a hilarious SNL sketch where he actually comes out, the actual Tim Kaine, and they're making fun of a liberal guy who was like high and mighty. And he goes, for $1 million, what's my name? He goes, I don't know. I don't know. He goes, I just told you. It's Tim Kaine.
I've already forgotten.
All right. So Tim Kaine, who's a senator, he falsely claimed that Doge posted classified information on its website, when in reality, the Doge site only briefly showed intelligence community headcounts that were already public and unclassified. But he demanded a hearing because Doge was posting classified information on its website. And here's the crazy part. Most people will not follow up on this. Most people just see that headline and go, I can't believe they're doing that. You know?
Well, I mean, this is the whole thing. So here's why, okay? They're doing it for 3 different reasons. All right. Reason number 1, anything that Trump does, they have to have the exact opposite opinion. Nothing that Trump has ever done, go back to 2016 and the 4 years he ran, anything he's talked to up to this point and now in this presidency, they take the exact opposite side point of view. No matter how bad or negative that could eventually be for them. And them being on the opposite side of getting rid of government waste is going to be bad for them in the future. But they take that opposite point of view. That's step 1. Step 2, let's lie about what he's doing. Okay, so Elon Musk went in to look at the IRS. Oh my God, you're not going to get your IRS refund checks back because they've shut down the IRS. Okay, they did not shut down the IRS. False. They didn't shut down the IRS. And the people that they are firing are people who were just hired. So this is what's interesting.
They're probationary employees.
Yes, probationary across the entire government. Essentially, any probationary employee who was just recently hired was essentially said, yeah, never mind, we're not going to hire you. Okay. Now what they've gone and said, okay, now they're actually going out and like talking to these people, interviewing these people and saying, oh, I've lost my job. What am I going to do? And this is so important to you because now you won't get your income tax back. Now there's not going to be air traffic controllers and the planes are going to fall. Oh, look, planes are falling out of the sky. And so what's happening is they're aware, very aware that the things that they're saying aren't true. But it's step 2 in the process of getting to step 3, which step 3 is getting rid of Trump at all cost.
Yeah.
And not Trump, not just Trump, because Trump's gone. Trump's gone in 3 years and 10 months.
Right.
Okay. Whether you like it or not, he's not going to get a 3rd term. You know, anybody talking
another
lie, which it could, I mean, he could get a 3rd term if they changed the laws, if they changed the amendment.
Yeah, and to be fair, some junior senator saying, I think we should change the amendment was not actually the entire Republican Party saying that. There's some
well, and that is what Trump wants. So Trump does want another term.
Of course, he does.
Make no bones about it. And he's laying the groundwork on the things he says to try to get to a point where he can get a 3rd term. But in order to do that, the states are going to have to ratify the Constitution and the amendment that actually allows, because it was taken away back when FDR was voted a 4th term. Okay, he died shortly after his 4th term started, right? But FDR actually was voted for 4 terms, and everybody's like, "Oh, okay, we're done with this," because up until that point, every president had only served up to only 2 terms maximum in office. They had chosen not to come back and serve, but FDR would have kept going, and all of a sudden, it's like, "What is FDR, a king? What's going on here?" So we got rid of that back in the 1940s,
right?
So it's not that long ago, really, that there was a rule saying a president could only run for 2 terms.
We should do that for senators too.
Yes, there needs to be term limits for everybody. We've talked about this.
Everyone.
But the thing is, the people who vote for term limits, right? It's one thing to say, hey, president, you can't run no more.
Right.
But no, the president can't say, hey, I want to put out a bill that says you guys can't run no more. That's the problem.
That would be like you working at Walmart and like you're your own supervisor. Yeah. And your employees are like, I think you should fire yourself. You're like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna.
But you know what? You're fired.
Yeah, but you're fired. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see a push on him getting, if he's successful, if things are going well, I can see a push for him trying to amend the Constitution to get him a 3rd term. But let's assume that that's a really far off chance and likely won't happen. Now you've got people like J.D. Vance, right, who would be coming up for the Republicans, Marco Rubio, who's looking really strong right now in his role, and some other Republican candidates that the Democrats are trying to say, we don't want them to win either. So they're taking this opposite viewpoint. They're trying to make it seem like, I mean, the ones that are saying that Elon Musk is a illegal immigrant from South Africa,
right?
Guys, he's an American citizen. Literally, he was born in South Africa. But he's an American citizen. And they're literally just lying about this, and people believe it. And so you see on social media people just saying, why are we letting this illegal immigrant from send him back to South Africa? Like, guys,
send him back.
He's an actual legal citizen of our country.
Right.
So it's sad. And unfortunately, I think it's starting to work. I think that a lot of people believe what they're hearing from the left-wing media and from all of these politicians, that somehow Elon and Trump are doing something wrong, when in reality, every time it's gone to court so far, they're actually doing it legally. Oh, sorry, that's legal.
Oh,
yes. Oh,
my bad.
Yeah. So stand by, because in the first 1,000 days, when we get to the first 100 days and we take a little look back, I think you're going to see some very interesting things. They're doing a good job of cutting down government. The question is, what's going to be the result of it?
Well, because speaking of cutting down government,
okay.
Another representative, Jamie Radskin, claimed that actually pushed for legal repercussions, saying that the White House and Doge had no authority to shut down USAID, and got everyone in the tizzy about that.
No authority to do it. You're right. He's right. Doge has no authority to do that.
The White House
didn't do it, idiot.
Yeah.
The White House, the president, the executive did it. Okay.
Right. The executive order, which gives it broad latitude.
And here's the thing. He didn't just shut down USAID. What they did was they paused everything. See, that's the other thing, using their language. Pausing, shutting down. Right. You're making it sound like it's gone forever.
Right.
No, it's going to be rolled up under the State Department. And the State Department's going to deal with that. And all the programs that it's running that are good for the United States will continue. That's how it'll work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of good for the United States, how do you feel about Social Security?
Social Security has turned out to be a good thing for our country.
Okay.
Yes.
Senator Elizabeth Warren said that Doge is planning to gut Social Security.
I know. She's crazy. Because I'm telling you, if you want to watch the lie happening, just go follow Senator Warren on Twitter, and every single tweet she puts out is a bold-faced lie.
Yeah, one of the funniest things I've seen on her account was she posted this video on her Twitter account. She posted a video where she's yelling at someone and asking if they're bought and paid for by Big Pharma, because she's never taken a penny. And the community note on her post
lists RFK.
RFK. List open secrets. The actual federal.gov website where it has all of her contributions from pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. I think the most eye-opening one, Brian, is the one where they show how much money people have earned since they've been, what they get paid every year, and what their net worth is. I think that really tells you the most. And I think you were alluding to it before, is how many of these people are angry because somehow they're involved in this money laundering scheme that's happening with our government. And the reality is a lot of the people who give them money might be benefiting from this, and that's why you're seeing also some more pushback and the lies and all these things.
Right. Bernie Sanders is one of those people, and I know a lot of people like Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders lies a lot. This guy flip-flops on things he said 5-10 years ago to now. He completely changes his allegiances depending on whoever's going to get him elected the next term. He is a career politician who has been almost exclusively a politician his entire life. He said that Doge was planning to privatize Medicare.
No. Well, Doge isn't going to do shit. Once again, Doge is doing nothing. Doge is a bunch of guys going in and getting the information on what's happening, and they give it to Trump. Now, would Trump like to privatize Medicaid? Yes. Would Republicans like to privatize Social Security and Medicaid? Yes. Will they? No. Okay, because here's the thing. They're not going to remove something that Americans need. But the Democrats want you to believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. Now, let's talk about real quick lying. Okay. Now, a lot of people will tell you that Trump lies all the time, right? People say, well, that's, lie, right?
He does embellish the hell out of shit, though.
The difference between Trump and what these guys are doing is Trump is, like you said, embellishing. Right. He's my fish.
Millions of people have died in Ukraine. You're like, oh.
Right. My fish was this big, right?
I caught a 90-foot fish, man.
So he's not trying to. He's lying. He's lying to you. It's a form of lying, but he's not trying to make you believe something that's different than what's actually occurring. To some degree, what he's saying is truthful, right? Or at least he really believes it's true. What's happening with a lot of these other politicians is they know it's not true, but yet they're continuing to tell the lies anyways. That's kind of the big difference between the two. Now, whether or not Donald Trump can be successful kind of using his rhetoric the way he does is one thing. But the one thing I can tell you about Trump, that dude is transparent as hell.
He's super transparent.
He answers questions every single day. Like it literally, if you just watch YouTube, every day, he answers questions to the media.
Every single day.
You can literally learn something.
The guy's live streaming. He's like the biggest streamer of all time.
He really is.
He's basically a Twitch streamer, but he's the president.
And he doesn't hold back on anything he's thinking. Like, am I in the mood for ice cream? I really hate ice cream. Praline ice cream is my worst. I hate it. I mean, you're going to learn everything about this guy that he truthfully and honestly believes. All you got to do is watch him.
Yeah, he weirdly hates sharks. Like there was this whole thing about like if I'm on a boat that's battery powered and there's a shark, I'm gonna throw the battery in the water. I gotta kill the shark. Sharks are dangerous animals.
I'm not gonna do it.
One thing he said that was really funny in the last one, actually, someone asked him a question and he always does this thing. He goes, "Who are you with?" And when he says that,
oh yeah, like he doesn't agree with what you're saying,
right? When he asks who you're with, it means he doesn't like you right away,
right? Or he doesn't like what you're saying,
like what you're saying, right? He goes, and you go like MSNBC. He goes, "Oh yeah, of course you are."
Yeah, or they'll say it, you don't hear what it is, and he's like, "No, all right." It's like he's tucked it away in the back of his mind.
He's remembering.
The person who's answered the question is like, "Oh shit,
god damn it!"
You can tell, like, God dang it. I'm sorry, the Hindu Times.
I remember one time he goes, "Who are you with?" And they answer. He goes, "Never heard of it." Next question. he didn't even answer the question. He just said, "Never heard of it," and then asked for another question. I was dying, bro.
Did you see the one where he's talking to the governors yesterday or the day before?
Oh yeah, he's talking.
Governor, he's like talking about the men and women's sports.
Yeah.
And the governor from
He was
Maine,
so like just matter of fact. I felt awkward.
And see that's what's
he has no awkward gene, bro.
He doesn't have an awkward gene, and I think to some degree you need that. A lot of people would not say something because of fear of making things awkward,
right,
or making things uncomfortable. The dude just don't have it, and so when the governor of Maine's basically back talking him up there that I
have that video,
this and blah blah blah. You want to show it?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll show it.
But anyways, he basically said, well, I'll let him say it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you do it. But essentially, he doesn't care how it's going to make people feel. And honestly, even for myself, I would have been uncomfortable.
Dude, I was uncomfortable watching this. Here we go.
Yeah.
Signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers,
where 15
years,
he rambles a lot.
The record not going to be broken again in a longer. So we put a ban on it.
Okay.
To transition category and to the.
All right, come on, get to the main part.
See And by the way, you.
Oh, there it is.
Maine?
Here we go.
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal.
He's talking to the governor of Maine.
He's talking to the governor of Maine.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it.
I'm gonna back this up again.
We are the federal
It's
law.
so good.
Maine?
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you
I
don't.
felt
And
so
by the way, your
uncomfortable.
population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better
There she is.
comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one.
Bro,
So,
he's not. This is not the press corps. This is not a huge room. It's a small, private, dinner.
It's 50 governors
Right? He's and he's just,
and some other people. Yeah.
right. It's so awkward. It's so awkward to me. But he just doesn't have that
give a
gene.
Fuck. He just does not care.
That's what it is. He
And the
has
reason why he doesn't
zero
care,
X.
he doesn't. He just, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I still haven't been able to figure out totally if that's a good or a bad thing. We're going to look back on this and find out. Either he's going to wreck us completely or he needs to go to the front of the line at Mount Rushmore. I haven't figured out which one it's going to be yet. I can tell you this. His policies feel right. I want to see if he's right on tariffs. I got to tell you, I'm tired of being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
America's been being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because we were the world. I don't know if I want to go into this. We were the world superpower.
I don't, but
Right.
But
we were the
but
world
we have
superpower.
been. We paid the most in the NATO. We give subsidies to other countries so they can ship here. For some reason, we are just like the pin cushion for the rest of the planet.
Well, it started out very honestly. You know, when we were fighting after World War II, we were fighting communism, and so the goal was to keep communism from spreading around the world. We need to spread democracy. So we had all these programs, even though USAID didn't come to the 60s, we had other programs where we were encouraging countries to be democracies,
Right.
which is a good thing, you know, because when you're voting
good
for
thing.
do you want tyranny or do you want people voting, right? You want the will
Right.
of the people. So for decades and decades and decades, we did that. And we were battling communism. Well, when communism fell in 1989, then something else happened. Oh, we found ourselves all alone in the race. And so now we can supercharge this democracy idea. Not only have we beat communism, but we can make sure democracy flourishes all over the world. And the moment we did that, everybody started hating us because we overstepped our bounds. And so what happened was everybody was happy to have a hand in the pot to take money from America. And we were happy for them to try to change the way the world worked. Unfortunately, we've borrowed so much money. We've gotten ourselves in so much debt. We're destroying ourselves by doing this. And now we simply can't afford to continue doing this. So we have to make other countries bring them back and make fair deals where they, you know, if they're going to charge us, we got to charge them. No more free money. Okay. Because daddy's broke.
Yeah.
Daddy lost his job. Okay. And we can't afford to pay you guys no more. So now you're going to have to go out and get a job.
Right. By the way,
Honduras, you're going to have to get a job.
Yeah.
Britain.
Yeah. Anyone
Or
who's just
wherever
taking
else.
money. It was really funny when, speaking of Kenneth Roque here, Canada was like, we had to fire all these people in this Providence because Trump's funding was cut off. And you're like, no, it was something about something they were funding. Like, why do you have to fire your government employees because of Americans' funding? I don't understand.
But I don't know if you can trust everything that, I mean, especially when you're one-sided. I know we never talked about the Canada.
But speaking of Canada, Kenneth Roque says you're not a democracy. That is actually true. We are technically a constitutional republic, but we aspire to democracy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been a straight up democracy for a long time, you know, for the people truly decide maybe, but you know, and you're right, we're a republic and the people, the popular vote doesn't get to determine exactly who's going to be president. You're right. So we still have representatives that do that. But I think we're the closest thing to a democracy that most places are. And I don't know if you can have a true democracy because, I mean, for example, look what's happening to all of these politicians who are straight up lying to people to get them to believe something that's not true. And now all those people are going to go vote. Makes it really tough. I think if we had complete and total democracy, we might be on the border of anarchy, to be honest with you. I think if you get too close to complete and total democracy, you kind of end up in an anarchical state of, because it's too wishy-washy. It's not stable.
Yeah, it's either anarchy or straight up dictatorship. Go watch a show called Paradise and tell me what you guys think about the a false democracy and what really requires people to feel like they actually live in a democracy. Because once you actually allow the herd, and look, what did Agent K say in Men in Black? Yeah, you're right. A person is usually smart and reasonable, but a crowd of people are stupid.
I agree with that. Yeah, a crowd of people can be turned very quickly by one person.
Real quick, I just want to shoot a couple shots off the bow before we end this topic. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, by the way, my favorite of all politicians is AOC.
Okay.
I think she's hilarious. I think she's gorgeous. And I also think that she is a liar and not very bright. But if you asked me today, who do you want to be the next president? For memes alone, I would consider AOC.
Dude, AOC can't be the next president. I'm so sorry. Wait till I'm dead.
So speaking of Mrs. Liar, remember those pictures. Don't forget, she took pictures in her white costume. It was a costume. She was purposely wearing all white while standing in front of a gate crying, only for the shot to zoom out, and she was looking at an airport, but the caption on Instagram said, "The detention center at the border." Complete liar. Well, she also said that Doge and Elon Musk plan to eliminate the education department.
So they keep saying Doge and Elon Musk
Right.
because they want you to believe that Elon Musk is doing all this stuff. Elon Musk is making Elon and his team, which by the way, are making suggestions to Trump and his team, and then they decide what to do. Now, could they get rid of the education department? Yeah. Should they? Maybe. The education department, I don't know that they're doing any good.
Yeah. I saw a post that had me dying. It was like, we are number 40th in literacy. We have blah, 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 and they have this whole bullet list about how dumb we are, right? When it comes to school age, how dumb we are, how we can't read, how we don't pass any tests, and they want to eliminate the education department. You're like, wait a minute. Maybe now that I've read your post, maybe they should.
Well, and when you think
they haven't been doing their job very well. If we're that stupid, I'm saying.
Well, what has the education department done? Right, the education department, they've created new math, which no parent understands that we can possibly.
I hate it so much. Oh my God, it's like 1 + 2 = cat. It makes no sense, dude.
Well, here's the thing: your kids are learning the exact same stuff that we learned. They're just learning it in a different way that we don't understand. Now, why do that?
There's no reason
to do that.
It's just to mess with us. It's to mess with us.
It's to do it so that they can justify their existence.
Right.
Department of Education is creating a standard system for our country.
You know what I did, bro?
And to give money to states.
I want you to know my kids talk to you all the time.
Really?
Because my AI, SHAIN3, I nicknamed it Ada over here, but it uses your voice still because I couldn't get a female voice to work right. But I got so tired of trying to help them with math that I just completely didn't understand. I told my daughter Lana, not my older daughter, like the younger one that has a lot of trouble with math. I was like, babe, look, click on this button here and just read that question into Shane. And it'll give you the answer. And even if it's wrong, it's going to be right a lot more than it's wrong, which means you'll pass.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So all of a sudden her math scores started going up. And I taught her this one little trick to use our AI, and it's been using it for like 3 months.
Dude, I got to tell you, almost no job you're going to get. All the math that they're teaching these kids, you're never going to use it.
No.
I'm sorry. Almost any job. And even if you're going to be an astronaut or if you're going to be something else, a computer's going to do the math for you now.
Remember when we were kids? Why don't I use a calculator? Your teacher would say, you're not going to have a calculator everywhere you go. And I'm like, but I do.
But I do. Yeah. Now the kids, guess what? Now the kids all get calculators. They use them all the time.
Right. Yeah. One more shot off the bow, and this is only so that I can include her in the thumbnail. I'm just being real with you.
Nice. Just be honest.
Representative Nancy Pelosi said that Doge was an intentional dictatorial power grab designed so Trump can force a third term and become a true dictator.
Okay, so Nancy, got some questions for you.
Thank you for the thumbnail, by the way.
Answer these questions, Nancy. In what way will this force a third term? Okay. In what way is it? What is the word you called it?
I can't even. It's hard
dictatorial?
to dictatorial power grab.
In what way is this a dick grab, Nancy? In what way is it a dick grab when these are NGOs who aren't elected and are run by the executive office? Tell us. Now, we're going to find out. Listen, all this will be sorted out. It's just more lying to you, trying to get people upset. We're going to find out. They're going to force people to go to court. Court's going to make a decision, and eventually the Supreme Court is going to say whether or not what he's doing is right or wrong. And like Trump said, hey, whatever the court says is I'm going to follow.
Right.
Okay? But everybody keeps forgetting that. They think he's going to just do whatever he wants. It's not true.
Yeah.
He's going to do whatever the courts eventually tell him he can. Now,
when that governor said, I'll see you in court, what do you say? I look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Could he be doing things maybe he can't or shouldn't be doing? Yes. But he's going to force the court to tell him he can't.
Right.
Okay. He's going to push the envelope. This is the way this guy works.
Which is exactly what Biden did when he paid off a bunch of school loans. Remember? We're going to do this. And I know for a fact it's not going to actually clear the courts. But by the time they tell us no, we would have already have paid off a bunch of school loans.
And that's a strategy as well. That's a strategy.
Right.
You could get a lot accomplished before the courts stop you. But let's find out whether or not he can or can't do it. And it's the way America is. I mean, listen, who's going to pay taxes if they don't have to? They make use of the tax laws. This is what Trump's done his entire career, and what he's doing for our country. Good, bad, or otherwise, he's staying within the framework of what he's supposed to. So, Nancy Pelosi, stop with your dictator stuff. There's no dictator stuff happening here. Okay, if he sounds like a dictator, yes, he does. Canada is so mad, and I would love to get Kenneth LaRoque's take on this, but because when he said, yeah, I think Canada should be the 51st state. Okay, at first I'm like, well, maybe he's using it as like a tactic for negotiating or something like that. But he keeps saying it. I actually do think he would like Canada to be the 51st state. I think he sees it as bring it in. Now, it's never going to happen because it's going to cost us a whole lot more to make Canada a state. There's a reason why Puerto Rico is not a state.
Right.
Okay, it's a small island, but it costs a fortune to make the infrastructure the same as the rest of the United States. Imagine Canada, this giant piece of property coming under the auspices of a state, which Canada's never going to allow that to happen. And honestly, I don't even know if it's better or not. But, people are so upset about him saying Canada should be the 51st state. But here's what I say. Just ignore him. Like, he's not going to invade. He's not going to force it to happen. He's just saying things, which is what Trump does.
Right. Right. Okay, next topic. We need to talk about... Let me start recording. We need to talk about the asteroid. This is actually pretty important. Let me explain why.
Sorta.
No, it's important.
No, it's not.
It is.
But I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it.
So, asteroid labeled 2024 YR4. Horrible name for an asteroid. Give it like a
No.
cool name. Like
They're
Big
named
Bertha.
that specifically because they find a bunch of asteroids all year, so they actually name it based on the time of the year it gets picked. So we know that this asteroid was found later in the year than other asteroids.
I think it would be funny though if they like named it like World Killer.
Big Papa.
Big Papa, right?
Big Papa's coming in 2034.
So why R4 identified as the riskiest asteroid ever recorded due to its potential to collide with Earth on December 22nd, 2032. Initially spotted in 2024 by the Atlas telescope in Chile, the asteroid estimated at 131 to 295 feet, roughly about 90 meters for all you non-freedom
Essentially
units.
2.5 football fields.
Right. Saw an impact probability peak this week. It went from 1.5 to 2.8 and now 3.1% chance
Oh my God.
of hitting the planet.
It's incredible.
Now I'm going to show you something here. This is its likely trajectory.
No, it is its actual trajectory.
Or its actual
That is
trajectory.
exactly where, if it were to hit our world, it'll hit somewhere on that line.
Right. So we're cool.
100%.
So we're cool up here, is what you're saying.
I made that sound really like the reason I'm saying that is
So what you're saying that I don't need to worry about this because I don't live here.
no, I think the worst part of it could be maybe if it landed south of Mexico there, we might get like some big waves, but likely we won't because likely we won't. And I'll tell you why. The size of this thing,
The way you said that so flippantly. Some
Well,
big waves. I mean,
listen, it could really devastate some shit. Okay.
Sure.
Like literally it would take out. Okay. If you look at, can you pull up the Arizona crater?
yeah.
Okay. Just to show an image. So I'm gonna give you guys a few stats here on this thing. This is about the size. It has the same power as the testing we used to do on nuclear, with nuclear bombs in the Pacific. Think back to the Bikini Atolls and back in the time when we used to test nuclear weapons in the ocean. It's going to have about the same amount of energy as that. And the good news is when those bombs were detonated, there were no tsunamis. Okay, no giant tsunamis. So there's a good news. So if it lands somewhere in the ocean, okay, there you go. So it's about the same size as this asteroid that made this crater, okay? This is about the pockmark it would leave in the ground wherever it hit. So this is about 1,000, I want to say it's 1,000 feet wide, and you could fit a 60-story building in the middle of it.
Dude, think about the resources that thing might have.
What's that? Oh, it's a mile. I'm sorry, it's a mile wide, and you could fit a 60-story building in it.
It might have kryptonite. We don't even know.
I've been to that thing like 3 times now.
Really? Where is the material that hit this?
Okay, so it shattered. So it basically, now there was a chunk of it. It was a nickel. This one was a nickel asteroid that hit. So there is a chunk of it that is still on display. There's a visitor center. If you look in the upper left-hand corner,
I see it. Yeah.
Okay. If you go there, they have a giant piece of it on display, but most of it is still all over the bottom of that crater, spread out because it disintegrated.
And can you go down there?
They don't. I mean, you can go down there, but they don't have tours down there.
So you can go down there and get some meteors.
No, I don't think they let anybody down there.
Wow.
But I mean, I think if they might, I don't know, occasionally they might do tours down there, or you could like put in to do it. I think they still do studies on it, but you can't because it's like dust. It's like little tiny pieces of it. But the point is like, that's kind of what would happen. So if it hit, if you pull back up your map again, if it hit, let's say, can you turn that into an image? There you go. So if it hit, let's say somewhere in, you got Venezuela up there, Colombia, North Brazil. You're probably not going to, that's a lot of rainforest. If you go through Africa, mostly not populated. You get a little bit into the desert. Now, the real people are going to be screwed here is India. You see India right there?
Yeah, India looks ruined because that's heavily populated.
If it lands anywhere in the subcontinent of India, it's going to be a bad day. So, I mean, but here's the reality: 3.8%. So, where is this
3.1?
3.1. So, where is this asteroid coming in at? So, right now, the way it's being looked at is, and as time goes by, they'll be able to figure out exactly how close it's going to come to the Earth. Right now, it's at about the distance of from all the way out to where the moon is. Right, that's where the 100% right now is the moon, right? Or the highest percentage of where it's going to come is about how far out the moon is from us. The 3%, it means when you go right or left on the path of the asteroid, the margin of error puts you right on Earth at that 3%. So it's actually more likely to be about where the moon is at this point.
What if it pops a hole on the moon and we figure out the moon's hollow?
All right. I don't really have an answer. That'd be cool. I'd be right. I guess we'd find out I was right.
I love how you tried for just a second. You tried to answer that with a legitimate answer.
I did. I tried to give you something real.
Like,
I don't think it'll punch a hole. Yeah. So we're going to find out over the next couple of years as they're going to take a hard look at this. So they're going to turn all of our satellites on it. And there will either be and when it gets closer, there will be no 3, 5%, 8%, 18%, 57%. When they figure out this thing's path, it'll be 100% or 0%, right? It's either going to hit the Earth or it's not. And we'll know in a couple of years. And by that time, we're going to tell Elon, listen, stop with the Doge stuff. We're done with Doge now. Thank you. Get up there and move that fucking asteroid, dude. Okay? Just do your thing you do.
Yeah.
Genius stuff and get that asteroid out of the way.
Yeah. People were like, because I guess SpaceX is going up there to get the astronauts that Biden left in space. And
of course.
Right. They're like, actually, they were not actually left in space. This was already planned since the Biden administration. You're like, why are you gaslighting me? Because we were all there last year.
Yeah.
Like,
well, of course they are, of course.
But I don't understand. How do you think it's okay to think that I have forgotten what happened last year when they intentionally left him up there because of some Boeing craft error? And Elon told the administration, he offered the administration to use their next launch to go up there and get him. And the administration said, no, thank you.
No, they said no.
But remember, we were all there. It hasn't been 30 years or 80 years. It's been like 14 months, guys.
In 4 minutes, right? No,
it's been 4 minutes, and you're trying to tell me you're trying to revise history in real time. It's so weird. Like, you think I'm that stupid?
That's what this whole show is about today. The age of lying. They think that you weren't paying attention or weren't focused in, and if you were, you don't care enough for it to be like, all you want to do is have your bubble, you're in your bubble, and you want to be reinforced your beliefs. That's it. We need to destroy bubbles, guys. We need to tell the truth. We need to be transparent. You know why Trump is winning? You know why all the stuff with Trump is happening? Because he is the most transparent of all the people. He's the most transparent. If Democrats want a chance to be back in power, they need to be more transparent, more reasonable. That's the only way.
Yep. Okay, so real quick, because I want to pay this thumbnail off. The asteroid thing. There's actually an interesting correspondence with end time prediction and this particular year.
Yeah, tell me.
So, in the Bible and Revelations, I'm sorry, actually not in Revelations, in I forgot, Psalms, I think. Basically, it says that when Israel is reborn, the generation that saw Israel become a country will see the end times predictions happen. We'll see the prophecies fulfilled, right? Well, I want to tell you something. Israel was founded in 1948.
I was going to say, that's what they were saying back in 1948.
Right. But they say the Bible says the generation that saw Israel become a country will see these prophecies fulfilled.
Okay.
Well, how old is a generation? What's the average age of a person? Like 80 years old?
48 to 32 would be, what is that?
The maximum age is probably like 80 years old or so,
Okay,
right?
80 something, 86 or 87, whatever it is.
Right. So 84 years after 1948 will be 2032. One of the prophecies that they say will be fulfilled is in Revelations. It specifically talks about a star called wormwood that falls from the heavens and poisons a third of the world's water. And people starve to death.
I don't know how it's going to poison a third of the world's water.
I don't know. What if it's made out of like something toxic and it hits the ocean?
Well, we don't drink from the ocean, but cool.
I mean, we eat from the ocean. Most of the food provided. Look, I get it. I get it. Look, I'm putting the tinfoil hat on here. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to help you. I'm like trying to figure out how to make it true.
It's just an interesting like correspond. 1948, 84 years, 2032, wormwood. It might hit the ocean. It might kill a third, poison a third of the water, which makes it hard to eat. People will starve.
Okay. I'm with you on this.
We do eat a lot of fish in this world. Like it's the biggest resource we have, right? So,
okay.
Just saying.
Listen, I'm not trying to poo-poo on your idea.
I gotta tell you, either way, I'm not affected. It's not going to hit the United States, and I don't like fish. So
I just don't think it's a big enough asteroid for us to be too scared.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Literally, if we knew in 2030 exactly, and we will know by 2030 whether or not this is going to hit the Earth and exactly where it's going to hit, we would have 2 years to more than that. Is it 32? Yeah. We would have 2 years to literally just move everyone away from where it's going to hit.
And it's not even like, it's like the end of 30. It's like December 22nd, 2032.
Yeah. So we have plenty of time to move everybody and prepare. And
then
plan.
the hardest thing will be to move India because there's like 40 trillion people there.
But what's interesting is we would try.
Yeah.
The world would try.
Right.
You know, we would be like, okay, where can we send them all? Well, listen, China, I hear, has a whole bunch of places they need people to work as slaves. So no problem, just bring them all. China will take you all in.
Oh my God. Oh, you had me.
Am I saying something that's not true?
No. Oh, shit. I just dropped my. Yeah,
China will come all in.
That's funny. China's like, oh, yes, come here. We will protect you and take care of you. You're good with your hands, yes?
I've been to Texas. We could probably fit them all in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Okay? No, I think Texas is bigger than most of India.
Listen, Canada, if Canada wants to do something to help, take in all the Indians because you guys got lots of room up there. Now, granted, it's going to be cold in some places.
A ton of space in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's what you guys think. Speaking of, it looks like we got John Burns back on the chat. He says, dispatch from the front, out of Pilsner. Very sad.
I love John Burns super chats because I'm never 100% sure of what he's saying. And that makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
John Burns, I'm going to act like an old Southern woman responding to your letter. Dearest John Burns, I'm sorry to hear you are out of Pilsner. That is indeed very sad. Please include a dictatorial picture next time.
You got to say it. You got to say it like you got molasses in your mouth.
Dearest John Burns, dearest John Burns, I'm saddened to hear that you are out of Pilsner.
Okay, that sounds a lot better. Thank you.
All right, another one from John. He says, okay, we need to decipher this. Mm-hmm. Parliament weighs U.S. province 11 or 4 territory? I don't know what that means.
What? John, what are you saying?
I love you so much, John.
I'm going to try to decipher this. USA province 11, okay, or 4 territories. So what he's saying is I think he's saying Canada can take the United States and turn us into provinces or territories. and you'd get about 11. Okay.
No. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. I'm down. Listen,
Canada couldn't afford us.
I like Canadians.
Yeah, and demonetized.
John's got another one here.
Says, Brian and Shane, don't forget my wise ass super chats. I'm the one with the pearls or swine of sage advice and kernels of popcorn.
Yes, kernels of popcorn and swine advice. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Christy, it's Romans 10:9. I forgot the scripture. I appreciate that.
Thank you for correcting him, Christy, since he's like really good at the Bible usually, so I'm surprised.
Brian, your Chairman Moa impression was on point. Okay, thanks, man. I don't know who it is. All right. All right. Let's talk about. Right, hold up. Let's talk about the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
The Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's the Gulf of America. We're gonna go fishing and we're gonna shoot some fish. Hell yeah, brother.
Even we can make fun of people, just like Tom Hanks does on SNL.
Yeah, just so you guys know, not like MAGA isn't made up of only white gun-toting Americans that are attracted to their cousin. Okay, it's made up of a lot of different types of people, genders, colors, ideologies, but really MAGA is just not leftist liberal. So it's like I was talking to someone on Twitter the other day. There's a lot of like hyper puritanical accounts that are like, this is a very MAGA. A bunch of people respond with, you don't know what MAGA is, because MAGA isn't one thing or five things. It's just not this thing.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people would say MAGA. If you want to define it, most people would think that MAGA is people who, whatever Trump says or does, they just agree with. Like that's what people would say MAGA is. What I'll say is, if you're on that MAGA train, then maybe you're right. I think MAGA is Make America Great Again. And specifically, I look at it as there's a lot of things we're not great at anymore, and I would like to be great at those things again. So I do believe in that ideology, but I'm not MAGA. See, I'm waiting to see what mistakes Trump's going to make. And I do believe that this United States Gulf of America thing is probably one of them.
No, I don't. So, I think it has everything to do with.
I understand what you're saying, but I still think it's probably a mistake. And anyways, if you want to break down the story, then I'll go into some stuff.
So, the White House, I don't know why I'm talking like an old Southerner still.
The White
House says it has the right to punish AP reporters over Gulf naming dispute. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop doing that. White House says it has the right to punish AP reporters over Gulf naming dispute. This is exactly what happened. The White House said Wednesday that the news organizations that refused to use President Donald Trump's new name for the Gulf of Mexico were telling lies and insisted it would continue to bar Associated Press journalists from presidential events. I mean, isn't it rude though to blatantly say Gulf of Mexico when asking questions just to piss off the president?
Yeah, there's definitely some of that going on there. They disagree with him. They think it's wrong. So if you guys hadn't heard, essentially the Gulf of Mexico was renamed by Trump to the Gulf of America.
By the way, it makes sense. It's not the Gulf of the United States of America. It's the Gulf of America, the continent in which it's the Gulf in.
I mean, I could see that argument. Yeah. But I don't think that, by the way, I think you're gaslighting a little bit because I know that's not what Trump means.
But it makes sense. I know that's not Trump. I think Trump did that to get around those stupid drilling rules.
We'll see if that's why he did it. Maybe
but it makes sense to be the Gulf of America.
Okay.
The continent is America.
But that's not why he named it the Gulf of America. So you're reasoning it to make it so that it sounds right to you, but let's deal with the facts.
Sure.
Okay. The facts are that the Gulf of Mexico was named by the Spanish in the 1600s when they came here, and they didn't have much shit to do with what would eventually become the United States.
Right.
And the piece of land that they were hanging out on mostly was Mexico. And that body of water that they entered to go into was called the Gulf of Mexico. And it just kind of stuck as a geographic name for the next several hundred years. Now, that's the reason it was named. There's no other reason why. Does that water, body of water, also touch about as much of the United States as it does of Mexico? Yes, arguably more of the United States. Okay. So if Trump wanted to rename it, just for the sake of renaming it, no problem. That's what our country is going to do. We're going to name it the Gulf of America.
Dude, okay. I don't care if he named it the Gulf of Jizz Pants. Right? It's our prerogative for us to call it whatever we want to call it. I don't understand why people complain about this. It's such a weird thing to trip out about.
No, it's not weird.
Why?
If you hate Donald,
terrible. Yeah. Oh my God! Like you just froze in the middle of your yelling about Donald Trump. I can't even see what you're going. You're coming back.
You see me now?
You actually look like a liberal there for a second.
This is the downside of being here.
Right. If you hate, I give you said, if you hate Donald Trump, makes sense, right?
If you hate Donald Trump, then this is an excellent argument. He is overstepping his bounds. He is taking something from Mexico and from the world.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! The vapors! Ah! So look, Mexico can still call it the Gulf of Mexico. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Okay. So the reason I'm saying I think this is a bad idea. Okay, here's why I'm telling you I think it's a bad idea.
You're talking about not naming the Gulf, but the AP banning.
Well, partially that too. But I'm saying, look, fight the battles you know you can win.
Right.
Okay. And granted, you can change anything. If you want Mount McKinley to be Mount McKinley instead of Mount Denali, which it was originally named, I get it. Okay. If you want the Gulf of Mexico to be now the Gulf of America, then you can do that. The problem is you can't expect anybody else to. Okay. Now, the AP has something called the AP guide, right? It's basically all journalists use the AP news guide for how they report things, whether a state is capitalized, whether you use a PO box, the names and locations of places. And this is something that's been standardized all over journalism, right? And so inside of their things are very specific, like Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America. Now, the AP doesn't agree. AP is mostly left-leaning. Of course, they don't agree with Trump, right? So they've decided they're going to leave it as the Gulf of Mexico. And there's nothing that Trump can do to change that.
Right.
And technically they can't because it's their own standards of style. If they don't want to call it the Gulf of America, they don't have to. They have to report that that's what the government of the United States has changed the name to. Yes. But if they don't want to refer, they can't. So the mistake that Trump's making is, number one, I'm not sure. If it ends up being so that he has more access to oil and somehow it gives us some sort of strategic advantage to change the name to Gulf of America, then cool. But if there is no reason to do it, it just looks like a power grab to a lot of people.
I think it's a backdoor to avoid the court system and be allowed to drill.
And if that's the case, brilliant. Okay.
But he can't say that. He can't be like, "This is what I'm doing," because then it would.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. But we don't know that's what the case is.
We don't. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. If he's doing it just to show that he has bigger balls than everybody else, which is very possible that that's what it is, then I think it's a mistake personally.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah,
I think it's a mistake to just put your balls in everybody's face sometimes. Okay?
I don't understand, and I get what you're saying. I think telling a screaming, purple-haired, pearl-clutching liberal to F off is sometimes okay. And
that's not what he's doing.
He has the right to rename the Gulf as the President of the United States, just like Obama had the right to rename that stupid mountain, just like put President here, rename this here, because it happens often.
I'm not saying he doesn't have the right. I'm trying to say whether or not it's smart.
No, but do you think he should kowtow to some pearl-clutching, liberal, brain-dead idiot because they don't like him?
Don't create more problems you don't have to create.
Sure.
Don't rub your balls in Mexico's face and say, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Yeah, but
listen, I'm serious. When you
AP makes it worse. They make it worse.
I'm talking about the decision.
Right.
Okay, I'm talking about if it's not for some sort of benefit to America, okay, other than look at the size of my balls, it's pointless. Okay, now when it comes to
then you have to agree that Obama, Bush, Clinton, Obama a third time, they all made the same mistake then.
what did they all rename?
They pissed off people that called. I had a list and I just closed it. But that mountain in Alaska, people were very upset with that they renamed it.
Obama didn't change it. They locally changed it.
No,
Because that's what it was called before it was McKinley. So they didn't want to name it after that president because he wasn't from Alaska, blah, 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 whatever. So Mount Denali, it was called Denali before they changed the name.
People were upset about that. Are you saying Obama shouldn't have done that?
Obama didn't change the name.
Yeah,
I mean, it was changed. They changed it locally, and Obama said, okay, fine. If that's what you guys want to call it. That's what we're going to call it. Okay.
Okay.
He
was
didn't say,
credited with changing the name to the indigenous name Denali.
It was under his time frame, but it was motivated by the people who lived there to change the name. Okay. So
it's weird because the people that lived there were pretty upset about it.
No, the people who lived there, who were mostly,
Inuits,
Inuits,
like my mom and my grandma,
wanted the name Denali.
I actually remember people being upset about that.
Well, not what I read recently. Now, who knows what's right or wrong, but that's what I read. But the point is, like, if you're going to do it, now Trump's already got all these things he's trying to accomplish, right? He's got to get Mexico to do all this stuff. I think it's a bully tactic, and which he uses pretty well to his advantage. But I think it might be a mistake. Now, what's definitely a mistake, and it may not be, maybe it's fucking brilliant. Okay. Maybe it's what makes Mexico, do exactly whatever Trump wants him to do. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he says, listen, and this is possibly what he could do. Listen.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. Okay. Okay. We can go ahead and just make this right back to the Gulf of Mexico. No, listen.
But
listen. Maria, shh. I'm talking, Maria.
Yeah.
Okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to listen, got to seal that border. Okay. And we're going to kill all the drug cartel people. Okay. And they'll be gone forever.
All right.
And then you guys will be prosperous. And then, and only then, Maria, we'll change the name back to Gulf of Mexico.
No, okay? It's entirely possible. This is also like manufacturing yet another, negotiating point.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's possible. Listen, when we
don't know what he says behind closed doors, because for some people will be super upset with Trump and they'll be screaming and yelling and going on Twitter tirades, and then they'll meet with him for like 5 minutes and they're like, we worked it out.
Right, because that's how he does things.
Always happens, dude.
So that's how Trump works. He insults you, and then when you get behind closed doors, you're expecting a fight, and he's hugging you.
He's like, hey,
and
buddy.
That's how he wins his arguments.
Listen, I'm gonna need you to grow a beard, get a carry permit, put on some cowboy boots, and drop your voice about 3 octaves. I'm gonna teach you how to be a Texan.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
That's what he did. The Texans. Tex Worth used to sound like this. No, it sounds like this. And he has boots, and he has a beard, and he has a gun on his hip. And
I'm not giving Trump
and he's never going to get removed from office in Texas.
But the point is, whenever he meets, you see him meeting with all these people, right? You see it all the time. He has a fight with them publicly, right? This isn't complicated to understand. I don't understand where nobody understands this. It's very simple. Trump starts shit with people so that when he negotiates with them and he comes in and he gives them a hug and he loves them, when he's face to face with them, they're like, how the fuck did I ever hate this guy?
Yeah, he has all the power immediately.
What happens is it throws people off balance. That's his whole thing. Right. The reason he's being so kind to Putin right now, right, is he's throwing him off, right? Mm-hmm. And so what's going to happen is when he decides he's going to be tough, when it comes down to the point of having to be tough, he's already buttered up Putin to want to do things for him.
Right.
This is the way he works.
I'll predict the end of that. Let me predict something real quick. We're going to end up ending the war between Ukraine and Russia. Russia's going to get a little bit of Ukraine. We're not going to put a NATO base there, but we are going to get mineral rights, and everything's going to go right back to normal. That's probably what's going to happen. We're going to end up with mineral rights. Russia's going to end up with a little piece of Ukraine, and Ukraine's going to be more wealthy because we get to give them a bunch of money forever. Because the mineral rights.
I think partially, yeah. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to get most of what they've already taken.
All right.
And what's going to happen is Ukraine's going to get to go into the EU, right? So, which is the European Union for monetarily and stuff. And we're going to agree that there's no NATO. They don't get a NATO.
And we're going to get mineral rights.
Which we already got. We already got the mineral rights.
No. We're going to get perpetuity mineral rights.
It's already done. It's already happened.
No, it's not forever.
In perpetuity? Nothing's in perpetuity.
No. It'll be our mineral rights until we decide we don't want them anymore.
That
way Russia can't come get them. No, the EU can't claim them, etc.
Well, we don't even know what mineral rights are there. Trump said the other day, I don't even know what's under the ground there. So they're just
a lot
like,
of people seem to think there's pretty wealthy mineral rights right there, though.
Well, we don't know for sure, but it could be. So we are going to get something out of it for our money. But here's the thing: the most important thing is what's going to make Russia leave it alone. They already have. Listen, guys, Russia already has what it really needs, which is complete and total control of the Black Sea. So sure, they would love the rest of Ukraine, but they don't necessarily need it. Now, is Putin going to look for any excuse to go in and take up as much property or land as possible? Yes. What can keep? He will absolutely. Right. Any excuse for him to go in and take more and try to get the USSR.
Yeah, Putin is not a good guy.
No, not at all.
Putin is a bad guy. He's a supervillain.
But they do need to stop this war, and unfortunately, Ukraine's the only way it's going to stop, because they will lose without the Europe and us fighting, and then this turning into a huge world war. Russia will take Ukraine. So the only thing they can do is stop it, and then basically say, look, if you come back in here again, Putin, okay, we're setting up these agreements so that now we're all going to fight. So here's the deal. The fight stops. Fine. You take what you've got. But if you come back in here again, it's not just going to be Ukraine fighting you. We're all going to be putting on the fucking shit. Okay. And we're going to come and we're going to fucking end you. Okay. And that's kind of, I think the way the agreement has to be. Let Putin save face and not look bad.
Yes. Okay. Does. Remember this. The art of war says, never back your enemy into a corner.
Yes.
Because then they will fight with the strength of 1,000 men.
That's right.
You have to give them a reasonable retreat.
Yes. So in order to give him a reasonable retreat, he doesn't want to look like a bad guy, right? So that's why Trump's being the way he is. But we all know Putin's a bad guy. He is.
Everyone knows
a bad
that.
Guy.
Right.
So, and the sooner he's no longer in power and the Russian people get control their own destiny, the better. So it's a very complicated thing, but ultimately, let's get back to the what Trump did to the AP.
That clip already ended a long time ago.
Oh, it did. This was the whole point. We never actually said what the fuck the problem was with it.
Yeah, we did. You did.
No, I didn't say that Trump should not tell.
Well, then I'll just have to
AP.
cut it. I'll just have to cut this 10 minutes out that we just did. The 10-minute detour.
Why did we go on this tangent?
Elon was wearing a shirt last week that said, "I'm not procrastinating. I'm doing side quest." You and I go on a lot of side quests, dude.
I like side quests.
We should name our podcast the Side Quest Podcast.
That way you'd know we're going somewhere else. Okay, just really quick though, and we'll get this over with. AP chose not to say the Gulf of Mexico. They refused to do it. In fact, they were questioning him about the Gulf of Mexico, which was intentional, which they were messing with him, which they were trying to show we're not going to do what you want us to do. So Trump in return said, you can't come here anymore. So the question is, should the president tell a news agency who's not reporting the way he wants them to, or reporting facts, okay, or what he thinks of as facts?
I mean, technically it is a fact. He has the right to rename it. He did rename it. So they are printing lies because they don't like the guy.
But everybody else is printing lies as well.
Because they follow their style, which is...
Or not just their style, but they just blatantly lie.
Guide.
Well, no, they just blatantly lie.
Right.
So we've just proven that journalists pretty much just say whatever they want. So should Trump ban AP news people from being at news conferences with him because they won't agree with him?
No. And
that's right.
Yeah. Just like we said Biden shouldn't be banning Alex Jones or whoever that was trying to get in there. If you are a legitimate news organization, you should be able to apply for a press pass, and regardless of your political beliefs, you should be able to get in there.
Now, if you're going to be an asshole to the president, That's another thing. So if you get in there and in questioning and you want to fight with the president, you want to be like
Acosta always did.
Let's go. Come on, go.
Like Acosta did for 4 years, and they never banned him from the press room.
Right.
For 4 years, he was in his face.
If you're not going to be respectful to the president, then your ass shouldn't be there. Period. End of story.
Yeah, you got to respect the office.
So,
whether it's Biden, Obama, or Trump, dude.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who the president is. When you're there, they're the president, period. So I think, though, it's wrong for him to ban them simply for not agreeing with him. So if this is the case and there's not more to it, I would disagree with what he's done here. And you got to remember transparency. Let them lie. They're going to. You can't control them. That's what a free press is all about. We just believe and know that we are smart enough to know that they're lying. Most of us are.
Yeah.
And independent media will keep everybody accountable, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And what I would tell, if I was President Trump's advisor, what I would tell him is, hey, just stop calling on him, dude. The second that reporter says a Gulf of Mexico intentionally trying to upset your position and bother you, just like remember that guy's face and literally never call on him again.
Yeah, and just be like, submit all your queries via writing.
Right. There you go.
You could do that, but just don't ban them from being there.
You think that the one gay chick with the afro, I forgot her name, was ever calling on actual right-wing rags? No.
It
was rare that she called on, and they would not let certain people in.
That's a good point. They had a list of people that they were going to call on to ask their questions. You're right. That was by far what Biden's administration did was way worse than anybody else's. So whatever Trump's doing right now isn't remotely as bad as what Biden's did. But I would say to Trump, be better than that even.
Yeah, you got to be better.
You know, you got to be twice as good as them because they're never going to they're not reasonable people. So
they're not reasonable people. Okay. We got one more story for you. And this one, it's a whale of a story.
A whale of a story. Okay. It's messed up.
We need to talk about this. Poor bastard out in the ocean, kayaking, minding his own business, when up out of the depths, the inky black depths, a monster, huge, gaping maw just comes up and swallows the man whole. And we have it on video.
Hey, Jonah and the fish, or the whale.
Yep. This guy, and we'll get into his name, he's out there in the ocean. By the way, this is a whole brand new fear unlocked for me. Now,
this took place in Chile, off the coast of Chile.
Yes, off the coast of Chile. This is a new fear for me. New fear unlocked. This is like the ocean is such a scary place. I'm one of those people who has an issue with like the vastness of the ocean. It's just so hard for me to wrap my brain around. I think it's called megalophobia or something like that.
Oh, so you actually have an actual phobia.
Oh yeah, I have a phobia of that kind of stuff.
Here's what'll freak you out. I used to be on Navy ships in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and realizing that we're just floating there, and like miles and miles and miles below me is the bottom of the ocean.
No, it's stressing me out right now. Like you describing it, it's stressing me out.
I used to think about that when I was out there. I'm like, oh dang.
Oh my God. Okay, so watch this, you guys.
Oh,
whale just ate the guy. Hey, wait, where did Jim go? And Jim pops up out of the ocean. And look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God, that is so freaky. That gigantic whale tail. We're going to watch it again because it happened quick, so pay attention. And you know what? I'm going to put it on can you put it on super slow speed? Yeah, I can do that. Where's the speed? Speed. Playback speed, 50%. Here we go. Watch.
Look out.
Swallows him.
Dang.
And that guy's like, hey, Carlos.
Hey!
Carlos, where are you?
There he is.
Above the water. And look at this gigantic body of this whale. Jeez. Oh my God, that is terrifying. God, that is terrifying. So this is the guy that it happened to. He said, I felt a slimy texture brush my face. That's what she said. Man described being swallowed by, I couldn't help myself. Being swallowed by a whale. His name is Adrian Simonkos.
Okay.
Noticed after he was eaten by a whale was the slime. I spent a second realizing I was inside the mouth of something and maybe it had eaten me. That it could have been an orca or a sea monster. So from his perspective, not knowing it was a humpback whale, imagine if you're just now in the mouth of a creature and you don't know what it is. Hold up, your internet's flickering. I'm going to read the rest of this and you can respond. Adrian had started to think how he might have survived inside the humpback whale, like Pinocchio. The Venezuelan kayaker had been paddling through the Strait of Magellan off Chile's Patagonian coast, with his father, when he felt something hit me from behind, closing in on me and sinking me. I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, I realized I was inside the whale's mouth. I felt a slimy texture brush my face. I wondered what I could do if it had swallowed me, since I could no longer fight to stop it. I had to think about what to do next. But within seconds, Adrian started to feel as though he was rising toward the surface. And that's pretty much what happened. And I'm going to go back to Shane. Shane is like glitching in and out right now. Luckily, there was almost the entire stream. It was fine. He just left. So basically, that's the story of this guy that was just randomly eaten by the humpback whale. I will put the description, the link to that article and the video in the description. It's fascinating. You got to watch it. It's totally a new fear for me. When the body of that whale came up and just arched, it was like, ah, man, I can't. I'm not a fan of the ocean for that reason. It's just too big. It's too vast. It's too deep. There's too much things going on, you know? So I choose to not be out on boats the way Shane spent a lot of time in the Navy on boats. I'm not sure if Shane's coming back. Let's do super chats. John Burns says, are there trash fires in the Gulf of America? I don't know. I don't know what that means, man. I guess. If it's California, there's probably fires. Yeah, John Burns also says European Union is an alliance as well as economic. That's true. I don't think Russia wants the Ukraine in the EU because they want the Ukraine to be part of them. And I'll be real, I don't know most of what's going on between those two countries. I know that they went to war and that we pretty much are funding it. It's almost like a proxy war. We are, along with a couple other people, are basically funding it. And it's got to stop. War is bad regardless. And I think that Trump has a unique ability as President of the United States, and he's a personality trait, to make everyone a winner, to make all sides reasonably happy and walk away. But we'll see what happens. Kenneth the Rogue says carriers have a tendency to be bigger than whales. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, aircraft carriers are much bigger than whales. That's true. His boat survived as well. That's true. Imagine telling your teacher a whale ate your homework. They're not going to believe you. Marsha Hawes says, just imagine what people thought hundreds of years ago. I know. It's nuts. So they can't actually eat us, right? It's because they have like some kind of mesh in the back of their throat, I think. Shane just messaged me. His internet just stopped working randomly. Well, luckily it was at the end of the show because we're wrapping up. So no problem. Okay. Oh wait, I think he just popped up. Oh, there he is. I was gonna have to end the show. I almost ended the show without you, Shane. That would have been really unfortunate. There he is. There he is. Welcome back, Shane.
Thanks. My internet just stopped working, so I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Well, you're back
But,
now.
I'm back.
That's what's important.
I've been in that body of water, by the way. if
Yeah,
you're still
dude, I
talking
wish
about
you were there for that clip. Actually, let's talk about it. I'll splice it in. Go.
No, I actually sailed through the Straits of Magellan where that is. There was lots of, dolphins and whales and stuff like that. So, but the thing about whales is they don't eat people typically. Even orcas who've killed people, they're playing with them. They're not eating them.
Right.
So, I think it was mistaken a playful whale. Probably.
Doesn't humpbacks have like some kind of filtration system? They couldn't swallow a person if they wanted to, right?
I don't know if they couldn't swallow, but they typically filter plankton through their teeth, and they have like these tons of teeth that they filter when they go in. When they're eating, they actually kind of half open their mouth with their teeth closed, and it like filters out everything except plankton, and then it processes the plankton. So, I think it was playing. I think it was just playing with the guy, honestly, and put him in his mouth and spit. I don't think it was a food thing. I think it was a I'm fucking with you kind of thing. So, I mean, have you seen those whales that come up? I mean, honestly, whales are kind of playful sometimes.
Yeah, and that this poor guy's gonna be waking up with PTSD.
Oh, 100%. That dude's never going in the water again right there.
I wouldn't. I watched the video and I'm like, I don't want to go there. It's too much. Drew D says Google says their throats are way too small.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Why would you? Well, plus he swallowed the whole thing, including like the raft he was in. So
right.
It swallowed it's not going to hold the raft, but he was only in there for like 6 to 8 seconds, maybe max.
It wasn't very long. Yeah.
And so he didn't have time to think about all those things. I think that's hilarious. Right. Obviously he thought about it afterwards, but I bet he was when it happened, he went into complete and utter shock and panic. And the only thing your brain's thinking is, what the fuck's happened to me? Oh my God. And then I'm out. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
In the article, it said, I thought I'm either in the mouth of a whale or a sea monster. And if I'm in the mouth of a whale, I have to survive like Pinocchio did.
He definitely thought about that afterwards.
Yeah, that wasn't afterwards. He did not. All of that information did not go through his head in that amount of time. Right. It was more like, and then he sees a whale story. And he's like,
"Oh God!"
I would have had. Yeah, he thought about all the Pinocchio stuff way after.
Oh yeah, way after.
Yeah. My reaction would be pure terror, and I'm never going to the ocean again. Period. The end.
Amen.
No, what freaked me out though, I was saying in the chat, was that the body of the whale coming up at the end. It's realizing how big that whale is. My God, it's huge.
Yeah, whales are big.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up, my dude.
Sounds good. It was a fun show.
It was a fun show.
Appreciate all you guys watching.
I had a good time. You guys have a good time?
Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for listening, your time. I know you got a lot of things you could do on a Saturday, so being here with us is special.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys so much. Remember, we do have monetization back. If you want to become a member, please hit the members. No members block today. We are working out what we're going to do with members. For the last few months, we didn't worry about it. And now we got to figure out how we're going to give members time. So we're going to figure that out. But in the meantime, bear with us. We will get some value to you members. And if you want to become a member, hit the join button, bottom left. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. Don't forget, you can always support us by going to mixtees.com/brain, BRANE, and getting either my hat or my shirt or Shane's shirt. I can't buy Shane's hat, but you know what I mean.
You can, but it's just MiamiDolphins.com.
Yeah, so something like that. Either way, we will be back next Saturday. Till then, my friends, have an awesome
God
weekend.
bless you all. Love you guys.
comes the